think that means yes. Everybody got quiet. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out, first of all. Always appreciative of our media partners for being here. Today is a little bit different. Usually we're making the announcement at this time, but as you all know, we put out the press release yesterday to announce who our new fire chief will be for the Shreveport Fire Department. So I'm not going to, my remarks won't be too long, but I do want to thank, first of all of the applicants who applied to be the chief of Shreveport Fire Department. Extremely qualified, extremely good group of people that myself and Chief Whitehorn spent over 100 hours easily evaluating their applications, evaluating resumes, conducting interviews, conducting more interviews, talking to stakeholders, community members, and that brings us to today. I also want to thank Chief J.P. Lane. I couldn't have asked him to do a better job at having a steady hand on the Shreveport Fire Department, giving us time to make this decision. Chief Lane did it. Where's Chief Lane? I want to, okay. Yeah, give him a round of applause. His experiences, his expertise, his love of the Shreveport Fire Department showed through every single day. So we're grateful for him for keeping the fire department whole while we went through this transition period. So thanks again to Chief Lane. And next, I'm talking about the man of the hour. My selection for fire chief has been a fixture of the Shreveport Fire Department for over 20 years. Clarence Reese Jr. started his career as a firefighter EMT, and over the past 4 years, he serves as the public information officer. His last assignment over the last year has been the administrative assistant to the chief, and he is a certified law enforcement officer as well. A lot of people don't know, but he serves as a reserve deputy for the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office. The skills and insights he has gained in each of these positions will no doubt help him lead this department. During our interviews, Chief Reese made it abundantly clear his vision for the Shreveport Fire Department. He has long-standing relationships in the community, as you can see behind me, many of which are standing behind me in support of him today. And he plans to use those relationships to build a stronger department. At this time, I would like to ask Chief Clarence Reese to come forward and make his remarks.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to see the faces that are here right now, my friends, family. I really appreciate it. First, he talked about Chief J.P. Lane. One of his last things Chief J.P. did prior to leaving office was he led off the deputy chief and the secretary to the fire chief for the rest of the week, knowing I was about to take over. So that is why he's here now. He's acting as the deputy chief and the fire chief secretary for the rest of the week since he decided to do that. So first, I want to thank God for allowing this opportunity. Without him, none of this is possible. From the beginning of this process, all I've prayed for is that God's will be done. I've never asked, not one time, for Clarence Reese to be the Shreveport Fire Chief. Only God's will to be done. I want to thank the Mayor Adrian Perkins, and the CAO, Chief Henry Whitehorn, for their continued support and dedication to this process, and ultimately for trusting me to run the Shreveport Fire Department at such a young age with the tenure that I have. I want to thank all of the other candidates that applied for this position. I was looking at another fire chief position somewhere else, and nowhere else, they don't have 18 candidates to apply for a position. The people that applied along with me have a heart for Shreveport. They have a heart for the Shreveport Fire Department and excelling it into the future. Next, I want to thank my family. From the moment I entered into the training academy in 2002 to now, they have been instrumental in my career. From working extra shifts, taking classes, attending conferences, and pursuing future opportunities, they have made sacrifices so that I can stand here today. To my wonderful wife, Chelsea, that is my baby. That is my son, Jackson, over there making all that noise. He must be like his dad. He liked attention, I guess. Who stands with Jackson, of course, over there. and including my ex-wife, the mother of both of my beautiful my beautiful girls, Kendall and Kayla, who are in school right now. I would have had them here, but I think education is a little bit more important. I told them you can ask your teacher to step out and watch the live video, but you will be in school today. So in their absence, I really appreciate them and their continued support, and their mother, Desiree, for her continued support throughout these years. I know there are times where they've wanted to pull their hair out, but they grit their teeth, and they make yet another sacrifice. My mother and father, which my dad's standing right there, Pastor Clarence, Reese Sr., and my mother, Sharon, they moved us here from New Orleans. 3 boys, no family up here, or whatever, for better opportunities. Today, I can probably say that was the best move they could have made. When we got here in the mid-'90s, they had another son. They were kind of like me. They started over. So it's 4 boys, my mother and father, in Shreveport, really that had no family. Both of my parents were in management. I've been around death my entire life. My father entered into the funeral home service. I was born into the funeral home service. So that was one of the things I wanted to do once I became grown. I wanted to save some lives. I was tired. I didn't want to see them, at a funeral home. After school care was Winfield Funeral Home for me. I used to get picked up in limousines and hearses. So for anybody that thinks that you can attack me, just remember I was picked up in hearses in middle school. So there's not too much you're going to be able to say that's going to hurt my feelings. While in Shreveport, along the way, my school friends became my family. Again, I don't have much family here. As I entered into the fire service, the fire department became my family. And as I support city events and worship at local congregations, which I want to make sure y'all know I am a proud member of Morning Star Baptist Church under the direction of Pastor Clarence Jackson, who is a mentor to me and has helped me in prayer along with a lot of the other pastors. Pastor Douglas, I see you back there. And I'm also a musician, so I've been in a lot of churches playing and singing. But those local congregations, those businesses have become an addition to my family. So I have a very large family, so be careful how you talk about me. Okay? Public service has been my life for over 20 years. I've worked in the busiest neighborhoods to help as many people as possible. While making countless amounts of emergencies, fire department coworkers were pouring into me and mentoring me for the next job task. I had no idea I would be standing here as a fire chief. It was never my desire to run into burning buildings or jump on an ambulance. Quite frankly, I just got out of high school. I knew college was not the option for me at that time, and I was broke. I was too young. I was too young to join the police department, so I made a left in that hallway and joined the fire department. So they have poured into me and told me they've seen things in me that I never saw in myself. And this is what the fire service is all about, affecting lives while becoming productive citizens. You will be seeing more of the fire department in your communities. It is my plan for our members to have pride in the neighborhoods they work in and for the neighborhoods to have pride in their fire department. Plans for the future of the department will be based on the needs of the citizens. I want to make sure you understand that. Citizens come first. And the sustainability of our employees come right after that. We're losing far too many employees to other areas. At the end of the day, they need to make sure, or they need to know that they are valued. They continue to excel this city forward. We face the same challenges as everyone else in the world. We are fighting for employees that want careers. We have a plan to address recruiting in schools and through lateral transfers. As early as this morning, we were already making plans to approach the Civil Service Board. I take our service very seriously and want you to know that I am committed to meeting the needs of our citizens and our visitors. This is directly attached to the training that we will receive. Chief Lane and I have been working hand in hand for the last 6 months, and we're committed and have already started implementing new training objectives that meet the standards of the fire service in 2022. One of my biggest goals with the department is to equip our members with the training and tools needed to be successful. This will require sacrifice and dedication on all parts. I have continued to do my very best and expect the same from the members who proudly wear this uniform. I'll be sharing more of the department's plan after meeting with the command staff and continuing the team approach to excel this department to be the very best in the world. It's time we get behind the mayor, his administration, and city council and be the very best Shreveport that we can be. We know you trust us and know that by the passing of the bond, which we appreciate every citizen for, we want you to know where your money is going to be spent. And we want you to know that you will be proud of the things that you will be seeing. Again, I thank you so much. There are a couple people I really want to recognize. All of the city council members that are here, the Shreveport Police Department, they give me a hard time. They give me a hard time. As many of you know, I talk a lot of noise back and forth to them, and we hadn't won anything yet, but I'm going to continue talking. But we work hand in hand. We need them, and they need us. All of the pastors that are in the group, my chief of EMS, prior to going to fire administration, Chief George, and a guy named Chief Tabor, allowed me to foster relationships within the community while trying to pull double duty, doing PIO duty, doing social media. They've allowed me to foster under their relationship. And then I really want to thank Chief Scott Wolverton. Chief Scott Wolverton was the one that chose me for the assistant to the fire chief. I'm forever grateful. You are a man of faith, and you have shown me a lot. So I appreciate it. Last thing I'm going to say, and I was trying not to cry about this, but love on your loved ones. One of the hardest things for me to do was try to tell my mother that I was the fire chief. She's dealing with dementia and never understood. She didn't understand that I was the fire chief now. Those memories you've already created, hold on to them. Your family, your friends, and your coworkers are so important. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your support. Amen.
Really quick, before we open it up for questions, as you can see, it was no need for me to do a long introduction for the new chief. We have a very charismatic leader that's more than prepared to take over the Shreveport Fire Department. But I made reference to this earlier about the amount of community support behind Clarence Reese. As you can see behind me, we have members of the clergy, we have city council members, we have former fire chiefs here. All of these people believe in Clarence Reese. As a matter of fact, members of the clergy, we have Pastor Gant here as well. I thought he was behind me, but he's over there as well and is a huge fan. But yeah, it's a community behind Clarence Reese, and that's not even mentioning the firefighters that's behind Clarence Reese. We received, I can't even count the amount of calls and emails that we received. In this process, we keep it pretty close hold, so we don't necessarily respond public, but we heard you, each and every one of you, very loudly and clearly. Just a procedural way, what's next for the fire chief? His name will be placed on the April 26th council agenda for confirmation. For a minimum of 6 months and no longer than 12 months, Chief Reese must undergo a working test period. I have no doubt that he will do an exceptional job leading the Shreveport Fire Department, and at this time, we will take questions.
Mr. Mayor, was there any one thing that put Clarence Reese over the top of the other candidates?
No, it was no one thing. We have a holistic process. It was a lot of different factors involved, but I'll tell you two things that did stand out about him. One, his reputation, not just within the department, but within the community. Very, very involved public leader. And the second thing that stood out was his vision for the future of the Shreveport Fire Department. Wow. Y'all, media, y'all sure? Okay, well, thank you.